not the divided states.
That's right.
And in these states, all of our lives matter.
Including yours.
We are one race, and that's the human race. And the only color President Trump sees is green.
Ching-ching.
And he wants you to have some of it. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. So get over it. Stop crying like a baby and a little bitch. You mad, that come off. That is him trying to tell you that took the ball. He's a baller, a shot caller. I hope he builds that damn wall till he taller. Build that wall, build it tall, protect us all before this country falls. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Now you can go around acting like that Trump. Take a look in the mirror. You just got strong. So you tell your friends to draw a line in the sand to make the truth between you and him like you the man. So let me tell you something that you really need to know. A lot of your fans vote for Trump, so maybe you need to go. So tell the NFL they should stand up and still a kneeling on the flag trying to pull us up. And they can take a knee and kneel during halftime, but don't do it on our watch time or our time. It's sad that you had to use racism to make a connect, but with our rhyme, we're just keeping you in check.
Ooh, y'all.
Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president.
Diamond. Part 2.
Now we don't care if you black, white, or pinstripe. If you are a Republican or Democrat. If you are a liberal or conservative. If you are gay or straight. If you are an American citizen. In case you don't know. In case you forgot. In case you suffering from amnesia. Guess what? Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. So take a look around and what do you see? The same old bullshit staring back at you and me.
The Senate, the Congress, the Democrat side, some in the Republican camp, it's all the same guy.
To all the haters, the race baiters, the agitators, and the demonstrators.
Even the ones that want to leave cause they're really whack. Pack your coat, pack your hat, don't you come back.
And when the president decided to drain the swamp to benefit people even if you're in a dump.
Lower taxes, more money, jobs from overseas, immigration enforcement, no more freebies. Believe that and don't forget it.
Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president. Trump's your president. He's a baller, baby. He's your president. He's your president. And he's gonna win again. He's your president. He's your president. It's about time that you melted down snowflakes. Take a seat, listen up, sip it up with some taste. Trump's your president. He's your president. He's your president.
Because Trump is the man with the master plan, and all he wants to do is make America great again. Yeah, sure. That's all he want to do is make America great again. Yes, TrumpShowPresident.com. Go there, download a song, use it as a ringtone so that you can get your boogie on. All right. TrumpsYoPresident.com. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live Show. I'm your host, Silk, and you're my co-host, my Diamond Dream Team. And as Diamond would always say, it takes a team to build a dream. So I want you to stop what you're doing right now. Be sure to like and share this broadcast, this podcast. Share it everywhere and let them know that Silk is on the air, okay? That's what I want you all to do tonight. We're going to be talking to some JCs or some individuals that's been pardoned by President Trump. We're going to talk about their life after being pardoned by President Donald J. Trump. All right. Don't forget to download the Vocal app, the Lindell TV app. It's 2 different apps, and it's absolutely free. Okay. Shout out to everyone on my chat line. I see you all coming in real quick. Shout out to, I see North Carolina is in the house. Florida, Long Island is in the house. West Virginia, South Carolina, Massachusetts is in the house. Las Vegas is in the house. Colorado is in the house. Welcome, sweetheart. Thank you so much, you all. Thank you so much. Yep, North Carolina, I see you, sweetheart. Thank you all for being here to watch the show. I truly, truly do appreciate it. Shout out to Lindell TV, RSBN Network, Blessed News, and Diamond and Silk Network. Thank you all so much for streaming the show on your platform. Don't forget that the show is sponsored by MyPillow.com, MyStore.com. Use promo code DIAMOND or promo code Trump1. The show is also sponsored by PatchStat.com. Remember, these are the LifeWave patches, you all. Go to PatchStat.com so that you can get patched up. Don't forget to go to DiamondSilkStore.com. The Diamond Silk Bobblehead memorabilia. Yeah. $10 to celebrate 10-year anniversary for Diamond and Silk. Okay. All right. That's DiamondSilkStore.com. While you're there, click on Dr. Artist, get the Biodefense, the Foreign Protein, the EDTA. Yes, get that. And done Dr. Stella, click on her and get some ivermectin and some hydroxychloroquine. All right. It's what I want you all to do. Now, you all don't forget that I'm in a movie. The movie comes out August the 15th. So I need for my producer to go ahead on and play you all that trailer. Sit back and look at this.
When I was 21 years old, a woman told me, you need to surrender your life to Christ because there's nothing left but death for me. We're out here raising funds for the girls, and this is just not for food and shelter, but this is also too for education, leadership.
I can give you this money, but really what matters is if these girls have Jesus in their heart. Jesus matters.
The governor of New York has announced the passage of new legislation allowing abortion up to the 9th month of pregnancy.
Let's do something about this.
You know what? Let's do something about it.
We at it again. Let's go.
Get your stuff and leave. That's what you gonna do?
Yo, these kids came out for one thing and one thing only. And that's to destroy.
Wow, Bevelyn. Your life, even up to this point, is incredible.
Mrs. Williams?
Yes?
Agent Teresa Wheeler, FBI.
The bail for both defendants is set at $30,000 each. Additionally, neither of you may leave the Southern District of Tennessee or the Southern District of New York without prior permission from this court.
Well, they've deferred choice. And this is not about justice. This is about shutting y'all down.
They were yelling at the women, calling them murderers and baby killers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite the ride.
23 people were prosecuted.
Trial date is set for February 12th. I'll see you then, back in my court.
In theaters, August the 15th, 2025. You all be sure to get your coins together, get everything together, okay? We got a month. You got a whole month to save up because August the 15th, I want you in a theater. I want you in a theater so that you can look at this amazing movie, Pardon Me, the Bevelyn B. Williams story. Incredible. All right, you all. And you can go to pardonmethemovie.com. pardonmethemovie.com to look at the trailers, to make some comments or what have you, and to share. It's a faith-based movie. It's a feel-good movie. Finally, we got a movie for us where we can all go and watch without seeing all that woke junk. Okay? All right. Pardonmethemovie.com. Now let's go ahead on and get this party started. Okay? Yeah. Joining me right now is Mr. Peter Stagger. Please welcome Peter. Hello, Peter. How are
Thank
you
you so much for
doing?
having me.
Wow. Thank you so much for
So much.
being here. Thank you. Okay, now so you was pardoned by President Trump, or did you get your sentence commuted?
I actually had my sentence. I was pardoned. I was on a halfway house, basically in home confinement, and he when he pardoned, I was expecting there to be a little legal woos and wrangles, and down the road it might happen for us, but fortunately we were blessed, and he just dropped the gauntlet. So I'm very thankful for him.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, President Trump, for doing so much for us.
He's doing so much for us, and the deep state and the swamp dwelling Republicans, they just want to destroy President Trump and destroy this country. But President Trump is for the people, by the people. Now, so what were you if you was in a halfway house, that means you did some time as well in a prison, right?
I did. I spent. I actually had 40 months before I was sentenced and had my day in court. I did take a plea deal ultimately, and 41 months roughly in, I was sent to a low facility in Arkansas, Forest City, and it was rough. I spent time amongst individuals and had no criminal record. I did a lot of time in the community. Had been married up to 19 years. 2 kids. It was really hard to wrap my head around that this really could be happening and living this nightmare, witnessing all the brutality and ultimately, having, your civil rights, basic human dignities and everything stripped from you. Like you were literally the worst thing that had happened, truly like a domestic terrorist. And that's the way they treated us. And they violated our due process. And it was really sad to watch really at how the lawfare has taken control and reigned, and been weaponized basically against individuals for thought and speech and having different ideas, and actually for people who are brave enough to speak out against something they know isn't right. So, it was really disturbing to see America fall.
Yeah. It was on a trajectory of just going straight down, especially when you can be locked up for posting a meme on social media. It was really, 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 really sad. So you took a plea deal, and what did they say that you was guilty of doing?
My ordeal was based around the Roseanne Boylan situation. They murdered 4 unarmed Americans on January 6th. And I want a lot of people to understand truly the trauma that people went there and actually witnessed firsthand, and the lies and everything that they were told and sold by the media and the law enforcement, really, ultimately. A lot of individuals, and they know who we are, and yet they completely disregarded that and just believed the narrative that they were force-fed. But the reality to it is a lot of people got swept into something that they never saw coming. They were helping individuals, and for doing nothing more than helping individuals who were doing nothing wrong but doing what was allowed constitutionally for them to do, they were being assaulted. And we took in a lot of percussion grenades, mace, tear gas. We were assaulted for doing nothing more than just standing around and helping people we didn't know from being injured. And then ultimately, when they started murdering individuals, the fight or flight kind of kicks in, and you end up doing things that you don't expect or that you don't plan. And again, this is actually what transpired. It was like a medieval fight. I ultimately, looking back now, I blame the Metropolitan Police Department for basically starting a riot. And there was a lot of bad actors that were wearing badges that day, unfortunately. And there was a lot of good officers, don't get me wrong, that get caught up in the mix. But the reality to it is you better hope that there are individuals that are willing to sacrifice themselves when they see you being mistreated, even though it cost a great deal. It cost us everything. It cost us our marriages. It cost us our financial livelihoods, and it damaged our children. It did a lot. It caused the biggest turmoil I think that we've ever experienced, and it didn't end by the suffering even that we did at the hands of our own government by not allowing us to have bond or bail. But when we exit, that's when the biggest obstacle is, because you could never go back to the life that you knew. Everything you worked so hard for, it's all gone. So
It's all
I would tell you it's gone. It's very difficult day to day. But the best thing you can do is look forward and just tell yourself, it could always be worse. We were very fortunate that we suffered and shouldered that storm together as a group. A lot of great people went through that ordeal, and we were able to shoulder it together. By the grace of God, we got thrown into a unit where we all were like-minded and we had jobs. We had people that loved us on the outside, and then ultimately the blessings that we got from the corner. The prayers and the letters and the support that we had to pull us out of the darkness at our darkest moments when we unfortunately we're going through the psychosis of being put in solitary confinement and then ultimately tortured. So we want to thank the American people tremendously.
Yeah, you all was tortured. You was abused in there, as far as I am concerned, with all of the stories that I continue to hear. Before you went to prison and so forth, did the FBI, did they come in and break into your house? Did they break down your door? What did they do?
I was very fortunate that I was different because I was sitting in my lawyer's office, and I had actually been communicating with the sheriff's department after January 6th. Now, of course, the prosecutors and everything hid this from the court until the day I went actually into court 40 months in, and the judge was surprised to finally hear that that was actually the case. But the FBI showed up at my house while I was in my office with my lawyer, my legal team, and they showed up, of course, with cameras and scared my neighbors, traumatized my neighbors. And it was really disgusting and disturbing ultimately because they didn't put a bolo or anything like that out. They just thought that they would show up and make a big scene. And then the other thing was they push this narrative that we're the white nationals. Well, I've never been a white, what you would call a white person in my whole life. I come from a Mexican background, and my family's like a hodgepodge. I call it the Great American Mutt story. So we have all different ethnicities in us, but we're American first. And my neighbors where I live, we're in kind of like the lower middle class. So all my neighbors are minorities. And they know who I was, and they were like, "Are you sure you have the right man?" There's no way. We know him. He's what did you do to him? So it kind of backfired really from that aspect. So, again, that's God, doing his thing. But that's also, when we do things throughout life and we leave a wake of goodness, we're always going to be rewarded. We might not know when or expect it, but know and believe me that people do see your deeds. They know your actions. They know who and what you are. And they stand up for you when it matters. And they did, my neighbors.
Thank God.
So
don't be upset there. I'm a black woman and they call me a white supremacist. So don't be upset about it. So let me ask you this. Now that you've been out and you've gotten a partner, how have life been? Are you able to get a job? How has it been? And how has it been also financially as well?
It's extremely difficult, to be real honest. So my relationship of 25 years, marriage 19 years ended. My wife had filed for divorce, and in the divorce decree, she'd stated basically the crimes basically and the nature of them were they were so impactful and they affected their life so badly. Ultimately, so the strain that our families went through and endured, the hate mail, the letters of threatening their lives of, say, like our children and stuff, it's really sad, and it does take its toll. As far as finding work, I'll never be able to. I say never. I might be able to eventually recoup, but I was only able to get a job that paid me about a third of what I'm used to making. And it was because of the unfortunate nature of the offenses that I had, and I was thankful for it because again, I look for the silver lining. And a lot of people had it worse. There was a lot of people that were ushered around by law enforcement, giving like a view of the Senate, and they got yet locked up and thrown in prison also for it. So, I don't feel bad for myself by any means, because it could always be worse. And I know that I'm capable, and eventually I'll dig myself out. But it did cost me everything financially. It cost me my family. Doing the right thing, or doing what you know in your heart, and keeping the moral high ground, ultimately, it's going to cost you. You're going to make a lot of enemies. A lot of people are going to despise and hate you because they just don't know truly what actually transpires. But it has not been easy. You come home to a home. It was like that I was raised from the dead. Everybody had moved on, and yet I threw a monkey wrench in their day-to-days. I never, even again, I spent over a year in solitary confinement. Okay. The hardest thing that I encountered to date was coming home and not being recognized emotionally, physically, in my own household with the people that were mine, my family. I never was warned or told that could possibly be a thing. And again, I don't blame. I'm very thankful that mine stood by my side through this. But the reality is the emotional and physical disconnect of years. It does something spiritually and physically and emotionally to a person, to where you can you lose each other. And in able to save yourself, sometimes you have to bury the past, so to say. And that's kind of, I believe, is what happened. Now, I'm very thankful that I have good communications with my ex, and we communicate very well.
That was going to be my next
with our
question.
children.
That was going to be my next question. I didn't want to pry. That was going to be my next question. I didn't want to pry if you still have communication with your ex. That was going to be my next question. Okay.
And again, it's really unique because she was my best friend, and we still we're very, very. We don't talk bad about each other. We don't have a bad. We have a good friendship still. So that's I'm thank God for that. And we're moving forward with our lives, just in two different directions. Our goals are still the same, to make sure that our children, are successful in life, positive. They do things. We raised them to be public servants. That's kind of the way that we see ourselves. Also, we are public servants. We're God-fearing people, and we do whatever we can when we're asked to help, even if you're a stranger.
Let me say
American.
this: that sometimes it can be better the second time around. So you keep doing what you're doing, and wherever you're supposed to be and whoever you're supposed to be with, God will work all of that out. Don't try. Let go and let God. That's what I tell people. Let go and let God work it out. I really hate to hear that situation. I hate the fact that the Biden regime broke up homes, separated children, separated family, destroyed marriages, destroyed people financially. I hate to hear those type of stories, even though I have to hear them, but I'm glad that you're staying positive and looking at this from a different point of view. You have to continue to walk the way that you're supposed to walk, and get that learning lesson, whatever you're supposed to learn and know, so that whenever God join you all back together, or with whomever you're supposed to be with, you'll know what you need to do. But it's something about that emotional connection. And then mentally, I'm thinking of you mentally. How are you doing mentally after this travesty?
Well, it's really odd for me. I feel that I've never been in a better place. Ultimately, going through solitary confinement, you're forced to face the fact that you're responsible for almost every bit of your undoing. You have to look in the mirror and you have to dig deep. That, or you go crazy. And for me, that wasn't an option. I had so many memories to latch onto, but what happened is a lot of the childhood trauma basically that I had carried for so long, I was able to finally work past, and I did that basically. It was very difficult, but once I overcame myself, it made everything easy. I've never felt so light. Now, I say that to say this: we need to quit looking across the aisle and quit looking at people and calling them the problem. The reality is the enemy sits before us in the mirror.
Right.
We see him every day, but we choose not to recognize it. And let's be honest. If our nation is going to basically restore itself, and the republic that we have to preserve, we're going to have to basically start taking accountability for our shortcomings, and we have an abundance of them. We need to find common ground, and we need to get back to unifying. The reality to it is that we are different. We're different in our thoughts, and we're different at the approaches we take. But ultimately, I think we have the same goals and the same, aspirations at the end. We just have different ways of getting there, and we need to find that common ground. So, again, for me, I think that ultimately I'm thankful for the opportunity to suffer with such a group of great human beings. I'm very, very, very thankful. And again, it wasn't easy. I want everyone to understand, if you have loved ones that are in jail, in prison, or anything like that, those are torture places. Like, you wouldn't want that, I'm telling you, but for the worst of the worst, sex offenders and politicians. That's it. Corrupt government officials and sex offenders and violent, very murderers and stuff of that nature. Outside of that, I don't think anybody should be in a prison at this point. We need reforms. We need accountability. We need to get to the bottom of basically what caused a lot of the lawfare that's been taking place in this country.
Exactly.
And then ultimately, we need to be exposing the human trafficking. I think that's at the heart of a lot of this. And I think that's something that can unify this nation. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Green, Independent, or anything in general, Libertarian. We have got to literally clean out this type of activity because it's evil. And ultimately, I think that could be the rallying cry what we're witnessing take place today.
Amen.
With the Epstein nonsense that's going on. It's pure evil.
Like, I got 10 seconds with you. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. If President Trump was sitting right here, what would you say to him? 10 seconds.
I'd say release the files. Truth and transparency. Hard truths are going to basically set us free. We have to clean out the cobwebs. I would say get your popcorn and enjoy the show, folks, because it's fixing to get real wild. It's a great time to be alive. God bless America. Thank you for having me.
God bless you. Thank you so much, Peter, for being on the show. God bless you, sir. Thank you. All right, you all. We're going to go ahead on and get ready to go to break, and then we're going to bring on our next guest right after these messages. So we'll be right back with more Diamond and Silk Chit Chat.
Whether it's being a weekend warrior or spending time with your family, feeling your best is the key to doing the things you love. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Nirvanta. It's a natural solution designed to help you stay active and live well naturally. Nirvanta is a topical blend of all natural essential oils like frankincense, myrrh, and a proprietary gold standard plant stock extract. It's perfect for your hands, feet, knees, back, or anywhere else that needs a little extra care. Use Nirvanta proactively as part of your daily maintenance routine, and you're guaranteed you're going to feel the difference. Simply massage Nirvanta in for at least 60 seconds, 2 to 3 times a day to get the best results. And if you're not completely satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked. There's simply no risk and no reason not to try Nirvanta today. Right now, you get 15% off with code Lindell exclusively at nirvantahealth.com. So stop reaching out for that medicine cabinet, get Nirvanta instead, and experience the difference. Go to nirvantahealth.com, use code Lindell to get 15% off today. Nirvanta Health, live well naturally. With everybody talking about making America healthy again, I thought today'd be a great day to talk to all my fellow patriots about the importance of making your homes healthy again. Well, we have proudly partnered with airwaterhealing.com and their revolutionary whole home air purification system. The V3 from Air Water Healing does 3,000 square feet of purification. It eliminates dust, mold, viruses, and odors. But here's the part I love. They require no filters to ever be changed and virtually no maintenance. Whether you suffer from asthma, allergies, seasonal bronchitis, or just want to protect your family from the flu or even greater threats, don't wait to get your V3 from airwaterhealing.com today. Use code Lindell for 20% off in savings and free shipping. That's promo code Lindell at airwaterhealing.com.
Friends, we all know the truth. Big Pharma and the federal bureaucracy have made a mess of healthcare in this country, and boy, that's That's an understatement. President Trump signed an executive order to bring prices down, and that's a great step. But we know that real change takes time. There's one pharmacy that is already stepping up. I want to tell you about All Family Pharmacy. They're not waiting. They're taking action now with a summer sale that gives you the power to take control of your health. Right now, through the end of June, you get 20% off site-wide, no insurance required. Did you hear that? 20% off, site-wide, no insurance required. They work with licensed doctors in all 50 states, and they ship fast, straight to your door. Whether it's ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, methylene blue, antibiotics, emergency kits, or your daily prescriptions, this is a time to stock up. If you believe in medical freedom, if you're tired of waiting for someone else to fix things, do what I do. Take action. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell and use promo code Lindell20, Lindell 20 for 20% off your entire order. That's allfamilypharmacy.com Lindell, promo code Lindell20. Let's protect our families, defend our freedom, and make America healthy again together.
All right, you all, and we're back, and we're also back with some breaking news, you all. I want to go ahead on and say this because Peter, I just got finished talking to him. President Trump just called for the FBI to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, which was reportedly altered by the deep state. All right. So, Peter, you want those files released? They're going to be released, all right, after the FBI look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. All right. President Trump is very transparent, and he wants the truth to be out there. He wants the truth to be released, not the hoax, not the lie, not what the deep state put into place for everybody to be out there just going crazy over. Okay. All right. So he's already called for the FBI to look into this. And guess what? We're going to get some information real soon. Who did what, when, where, why, and what for. Okay. All right, you all. Let's go ahead and pick this back up. Please welcome to the show, Tommy Tatum. Hello, Tommy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here, dear. Okay, so now I understand, were your sentence, were you pardoned or were you also commuted?
So I had gotten arrested in June of last year, and I was due to go to court, say in December, after Trump got elected. And after the pardons, my case got dismissed with discretion. I mean, with prejudice.
You didn't.
So yeah. I know. I never. The FBI had me in a holding cell for about 5 hours, and that was the extent of my time in jail for January 6th.
Okay. Why your camera keep jumping around? Are you holding it?
What's that? I'm sorry. One more time.
You just jumping around. Your camera just fluctuating. Are you holding it? There you go.
Yeah. And so listen, we just stopped. I've actually just left the Trump golf course in Bedminster, New Jersey, driving back to New York. They had an event there honoring some Navy SEALs. So we just pulled over, and now I can hold the camera a little still. So I'm better.
There you go. There you go. Okay, darling. I totally understand because I'm like, are you okay? Are you giving me a
yeah.
or something?
Look, we were literally going over New York's bridges. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you was given a pardon. Let's talk about life after being pardoned. Do you have a job? Are you still being treated like a criminal or a third-class citizen or what have you?
It's mine is kind of a trajectory. So after January 6th happened, I ended up moving to DC and living with Ashley Babbitt's mother for a year, doing the DC the vigil outside of the jail for a year. I know you know about it. And then after that, I left DC and I made some documentaries with Larry Logan. I testified in some trials. I waived my Fifth Amendment rights and testified in Brian Mock's trial of 23, in which I was able to testify about witnessing DC Metro cop Lila Moore's beating Roseanne Boylan to death with a stick.
Wow.
And after I left there, I became a subject matter expert in footage made a lot of documentaries, and now I'm working with some patriots out of New York uh, to just tell the stories of J6ers and everything. So I've dedicated my life to doing this for the last several years.
So do you have a podcast?
So I right now I'm working with some guys, some great patriots out of New York. Like I just said, Joe the Box is the guy driving the truck now, the Ultra Mega Van, and we have like 8 podcasts we're doing out of New York and a live broadcast on out of the studio on Friday nights. And we're looking to do more things. And what I'm trying to do is highlight other January 6th stories, and also what happened to Roseanne and Ashley Babbitt.
What's the name of the show, if you don't mind me asking?
So Joe the Box, the show I do hits with is Joe the Box. It's the America First podcast from the America First Warehouse Studios in New York.
All right.
So the America First podcast, yeah.
So that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Okay. So how financially have any of this, the debacle that has happened concerning the J6 matter, have it hurt you financially?
Yeah, so like I say, when I say I dedicated my life to this, I literally have been doing. I could not get a job because I was worried that they were going to arrest me at any moment, and then I just kind of became my mission. And there have been a lot of great patriots along the way, and God, quite honestly, has made it possible for me to live and eat and have rent and stuff like that. So it's been like I've not had a job. I've just been doing this research like 16 hours a day for about 4 years.
Sound like you're living off of
I went
faith.
through all. Yes, it's a mission from God. I realized in the summer of 2020, God put me on a mission. And when I say my story is different, I knew that we were going to win the entire time, which is what allowed me to go put the truth on the record about what happened to Roseanne. And and also, Sager was just on. So when I would watch that footage, I saw like everybody in the footage around me was going to jail for 10 to 15 years. And I felt like, they were trying to save my life along with Roseanne Boylan's too. And then when I moved to DC, I started meeting their kids and their wives and them, like going to meeting them in jail. And I realized that I was the only person who could tell what really happened to Roseanne because I was trapped beside her for the last 8 minutes of her life before a cop picks up a stick and beat her to death with it.
Oh my God. Wow. Do you have nightmares? Do you have any type of, yeah. I can just only imagine that. Go ahead.
I try not to let it overwhelm me, but odd thing is after I had gotten arrested, I was able to get some trauma therapy from the probation services. But after I got the pardon, well, I call it the pardon, but I just explained that. But I'm no longer able to get that. But that all being said, God has me in a position now, literally, to try to get my health squared away because I had sacrificed and went really hard for a long time.
Wonderful. That's good to know. If President Donald J. Trump was sitting here right now, what would you say to him?
I was talking to a patriot today about that, and I'm not saying that this is what, but if the day I hear Trump say Roseanne's name, I feel like I've done his mission.
Yeah. You think do you believe that he know about Roseanne Boylan?
I know that he's made reference to her before, although I think this is one of the biggest secrets of January 6th. I know that they do not want the American people to realize what they did to Roseanne. Like I know, I watched the prosecutions, I watched dozens of them, and I watched what they did to the men that witnessed what happened to Roseanne. They threw them in holes for years and years, and they do not want the American people to realize what happened to her.
They don't want the truth out there. All right. I mean, occasionally President Trump watches the show, so he may hear you. He may hear what you're saying. What were you about to say? Now I got 1 more minute with you.
I think it's about to happen. I was blessed to be able to meet some people along the way after living in DC, and like my lawyer for January 6th is now a DOJ attorney, and I met some people along the way who are now actively working inside the Trump administration, and everything I've ever covered along the way as far as researching the video, I've given to them. So I know they have it, and I know it's just a matter of time. And I want to end up as a analyst or a researcher on the J6 Church Committee. so I can show them what I have.
Continue to collect all of your evidence. There will be a place for you to disclose it and show it, because we need that. We need to know exactly what happened, so people won't be out here speculating or just feeling like. We will actually know the truth about everything. Tommy, I'm not going to hold you any longer. I want to say thank you so much for coming on the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live show. Thank you for being a compassionate individual, and we're going to continue to keep you in our prayers. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Wonderful. Incredible. You all, wow, incredible. See, that's why I continue to bring these individuals on, so that you all can know what's going on, what trauma these individuals are now living with because of Joe Biden. Because of Joe Biden. Yeah. These people are still suffering mentally with what they have had to go through and what they're still continuing to go through even after being pardoned by President Donald J. Trump. Mentally, you all. Yeah. Continue to keep these individuals in your prayer. Now, joining me now, we have another J Sister coming up, Mr. Joe Thomas. Joe, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, ma'am.
No, you're so welcome. Now, were you given a pardon or were your sentence commuted?
I was given a full presidential pardon by our amazing president.
Yeah, he is amazing. Oh Lord, yes, he is. Okay, so how much did you have to do any time? Was there a particular time that you had to do time?
Yes, ma'am. The short and skinny of it is, I was hit with 12 federal charges, even though I never went into the building. I was found not guilty of any violence. I was found not guilty of the 1512 of trying to interrupt the election process. And I was facing 30 years. I took it all the way to trial. I was sentenced to 58 months, which is 2 months shy of 5 years. And I was told to report to FCI Memphis, the federal prison down there in Tennessee. Of that, I did roughly 372 days. And the greatest president in America's history was used by God to open up those gates. You know, I truly believe that God saved him for a reason. And it was to save our country. But also, I'm so glad that God used Donald Trump's pen to open up those gates and let us come home and try to rebuild.
Yeah, President Trump, I want people to understand what they put you all through. They try to do the same thing to President Donald J. Trump. It's just really, truly incredible with what these individuals, how they weaponize their position. They weaponize their power against American citizens while literally allowing terrorists, illegal aliens to come into our country and just rip away at the fabric of America. It's truly, truly, oh, wow. It's crazy with what these individuals have done to American citizens. Now, let me ask you this. Did the FBI, did they break into your home to arrest you?
So I was truly blessed that they did not come to my home. And so my wife, my 4 kids, they were not traumatized by that sort of assault, but they did hit me with a counterterrorism SWAT team at work. Flashbang grenades, FBI, get down to the ground, rifles in your face, the whole deal. They made a very public scene out of it. I was actually working away from home in the state of Alabama. I'm from West Virginia originally, so I was pretty far from home whenever they arrested me. By the grace of God and God alone, I was awarded bond and able to come home, take care of my family while I was fighting my case in court. And then also, be able to fight my case. And like I said, I did take it to trial, but along the way, I was also a very public advocate for J6 justice. And that's actually continuing even now after the pardon, because prison reform and justice reform is deeply needed. And we also have one J6er that's still locked up. The judge won't recognize his pardon. Judge Dabney Friedrich ordered J6er Dan Wilson to return to prison. They let him out with the pardon, and she changed her mind and ordered him to report back to prison. And so there's still at least one man left behind. And say again?
What state is he in? Do you know? Dan Wilson, do you know what state he's in?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember which prison they put him in. Okay. But I can get that to your producers after the show.
We'll look them up. That's no problem whatsoever. So you live in West Virginia. They got you in Alabama. That means they were surveilling you.
Yeah, for several weeks, they were trailing me, and they even had a police drone taking my pictures at a parking lot of a restaurant I stopped at after work. So I knew something was coming, and I knew that they were looking for me because I saw my face on the Facebook ad site that they had up for J6ers. And with that, I was given advice by a dear friend to just let them come and get me organically. Don't try to run, don't try to do anything silly, which I had no intention of anyway. But just realize that they're going to come. And so I tried to make preparations for my family and myself ahead of time, expecting fully that they would take and throw me in jail immediately. But again, I was awarded bond, and that was a true blessing. And so we started the Sing for Freedom campaign, getting folks to sing the national anthem along with the J6ers in jail, because what they did was truly heroic. And I think it embodies the American spirit. I think it was moved by God, because they were praising the nation that at the time was persecuting them. Because they understand that America is much stronger than a single administration. And so I wanted to help get America involved and show them that a nation stands behind them. And I know you're very familiar with what it had done, interrupting Trump on stage and everything else. And it's truly the voice of the American people that helped move things in a way to help bring awareness to what was going on with these injustices. And now we have a chance to make it right. Left, right, doesn't matter what your politics are. Everybody deserves fair justice and human treatment, and to be treated humanely. And that's what we're fighting for now.
Yeah, I think a special counsel need to be put on that, on the J6, on the way that you all have been treated, on the way that your constitutional rights was violated, the way everything went down. It's going to have to be truly investigated. And those individuals that's going to be indicted and found guilty, prosecuted and found guilty, they need to go straight to jail. Now, let me ask you this question. When you got out, because you said you did over 300 and some days in jail, when you got out and you returned back with your family, what was that like emotionally?
Well, first I want to say that if anybody's held accountable and they do go to jail, I made sure my cell was nice and clean for whenever they show up.
Okay.
But when it comes home for my family, I was truly blessed. I have 4 beautiful kids and a loving wife, and she stuck with me throughout this whole thing. We leaned upon our faith. We understood that God has a bigger plan in play, and that we were very thankful that He chose us to walk down that road. As tough as it is, and as treacherous as that road was at times, we knew that we weren't alone. And so I think that helped us grow together stronger. Outside of that, we had devastation financially. I mean, I lost 2 jobs, my business. My wife struggled to hold the things afloat while I was in prison, and those struggles still continue. I actually had to file motions to compel through the court against the BOP because they refused to provide me proof that I was no longer incarcerated. And that meant they had a hold on my license. That also meant they had a hold on my veterans benefits. And so I couldn't get the medical and the things that I needed when I first came home. It took me 5.5 months to be able to prove that I existed and that I was free and that I was no longer being incarcerated, to try to begin to start getting my life back. And then outside of the financial, the trauma of things that you miss, your children's graduations, birthday parties. My father-in-law passed away while I was in prison, and so I wasn't here for my wife when I was needed the most. I missed the birth of 2 grandchildren and also the death of a granddaughter. And those are things that were taken from me and from my family that I'll never get back. And so, that's irreparable. And outside of anything else, the emotional trauma and knowing that my kids had to cry themselves to sleep every night, and all the things that my wife and I went through, and some very human moments in our relationship. But ultimately, we hold our faith in the man above, and so thankful to see that Trump's in office and make life livable again and make America great again. And I'm hoping that he hears that small, still voice within himself and the Spirit speaking to him to push this in a way that will give a chance for families to rebuild. And not just J6ers, but every American that's had to suffer under this tyranny, but especially the J6ers, because the devastation, the full weight of the federal government weaponized against them. We're folks that are patriotic, and we raised to trust the American government and our institutions that we put into place to help run this republic. And that was weaponized. And it's devastating to families. The children and the wives, the spouses, they're victims just as much as the J6er themselves.
That's right.
And the pain's going to be felt for generations. We can't let this happen to anyone else.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's like they're suffering too. They're locked up as well. They got to go through it as well. So, but I'm glad that you had a better outcome when it came down to you getting back home with your family and your wife being there with you and for you through it all. Now, if President Trump was sitting here right now, what would you say to him?
First and foremost, I would say, sir, I thank you very much for promises made, promises kept. My family and I are extremely grateful. And when we saw you win on election night, the hope in our hearts leaped up to heaven and sang your praises to the Lord Almighty. And we are so thankful that you were saved on that day in Butler, because my wife and my oldest daughter were there and they witnessed that miracle themselves. And they knew right then and there that you were going to win the election, and that their dad was going to come back home, and that you have a mission to fulfill by the Lord himself. And you have our support in any way possible. I'm a man of strong faith, and I believe that this is like a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego for America. That moment, we are asked to bow to tyranny, and some of us were thrown into the fire, but we know that we did not go into that fire alone. It was the Christ that was in there with us. And now we're out. We're out of this fire, and we have a chance to move forward and to restore this country and have a 2 Chronicles 7:14 revival, where those who are called by my name shall humble themselves, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways and pray. I will hear their cries from heaven. I will forgive them of their sins and heal their land. That is the stage that we're in. Donald Trump, you have an army behind you, and I'm praying for you daily, and I mean that sincerely. I would love to shake your hand and pray.
Incredible. Well, Joe, I want to first say thank you. Thank you so much for being on the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Thank you for being humble and pressing forward. This is a time in history. You are a part of history. All right. But you're pressing forward through it all. And I want to say thank you so very much for doing just that. So God bless you, and thank you so much for being on the show.
God bless you, ma'am. I certainly appreciate the chance to just speak and to share the faithfulness of not only God, but every American out there that stood behind us throughout this whole thing. And honestly, it's patriots like yourself that inspire us to unite and push together and stand up for the red, white, and blue and everything that she stands for. So God bless, and thank you again.
God bless. Thank you. Incredible, you all. That was really, really, truly incredible. And I'm grateful that, he's still moving forward, still pressing forward. And I'm going to leave it right there because, there's a lot more other stuff that I can say. But y'all know, I only got an hour show. That's it, just an hour. Okay. All right. So you all continue to pray for these J sisters. Pray for them financially, for them mentally, because I don't even want to imagine what a lot of these individuals have gone through. But they come on the show and they tell us we have to have a heart and continue to support them. We want the truth out there. This is the truth that we should be bickering about. Where's Megyn Kelly, Candace Owen, and Tucker Carlson on this? We need the truth about this. These American citizens are still living and struggling and suffering because of what the Biden regime did to them. Okay, when we gonna get some real release on this? Yeah. All right, y'all. Okay, look, I want you all, don't forget, pardonmethemovie.com, pardonmethemovie.com. Go and see the trailer. diamondandsilkstore.com. Get the Diamond and Silk bobblehead memorabilia. And don't forget, you all, every day at 11:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we start what we're doing and we pray. I pray for you. You pray for me. We pray for each other. Pray for our January sisters. Yes, let's pray for them. Pray for President Donald J. Trump and his family and his protection. And you all pray for God to heal the land. So, in the meantime and in between time, I look forward to seeing you next time right here on Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. Bye-bye.